What's going on, guys? It's Justin Rath here with another video where we're going to exhibit how literally anybody can take this skill and turn $500 into $70,000 in a year. So let's get going. Here at the Investor Academy, we catch pips. Write that word pips down. So in forex, we measure our success by how many pips we catch on any given trade. When you place a trade, whether you buy or sell a currency pair, the price will move up or down a certain number of pips. A pip is 1/1000th of a penny. So if you split a penny into 1,000 pieces, that would be a pip. So if the exchange rate of Euro USD moves up by just 1/1000th of a penny, that would mean it moved up 1 pip. And remember, this exchange rate is constantly fluctuating, so just imagine how many pips each currency pair is moving every day. And this is important because these pips are going to be like points to you. So when we place a trade, we always refer to how many pips we made or lost on a trade. So once you start hopping in the live trade room and start going through the discussion group, you'll hear or read, I made 20 pips on that trade, or I lost 20 pips on that trade. As a rule of thumb, your goal as a trader is to catch 100 pips per week once you begin trading live. If you can catch 100 pips per week, you will be able to grow a $500 account to over $70,000 in a year and to multiple six figures over 18 months. Let me show you how. Here's an example of a chart where price moved up 250 pips in 2 hours. If you look at the chart, you will see the buy spot and the sell spot marked in green. So those green and red bars that you see are called candles. Each candle, whether it's red or green, represents 1 hour of real time. The red candle represents price moving down and the green candle represents price moving up. The red candles are called bearish candles and the green candles are called bullish candles. So in the same way, when you hear the market is bearish, that means the market is trending downwards. When you hear the market is bullish, that means the market is trending upwards. And this is just a basic introduction to candles. Don't worry, we will have a video in the beginner section dedicated to candles itself, so don't worry too much about them now. Just know that each candle in this chart, whether it's red or green, represents 1 hour of real time in the market. So from the buy spot to the sell spot, we see that there were 2 green bullish candles, which represent 2 hours of bullish movement where price moved up 250 pips. Remember guys, pips are so minute that any currency pair can move 100 pips in just a few hours or more. And if you're asking how do you know that the price moved up 250 pips, we're also going to show you how to calculate pips in the MetaTrader 4 tutorial, which is probably going to be the easiest thing you'll ever learn. So back to pips. Remember, these are like points to us as traders. In this specific picture, the price moved up 250 pips in 2 hours. Remember, our goal as traders is to catch 100 pips per week. Write that down if you haven't already. So if you would have placed that trade at the buy spot marked on the chart and got out at the sell spot that we marked, you would have made 250 pips in 2 hours, which is essentially 2.5 times your weekly goal in just 2 hours of real time. This is just an insight on how easy forex can be if you focus on catching 100 pips per week. To put what 100 pips is in perspective, refer back to the last video where we mentioned that our weekly goal is 10% a week in the forex markets. So here's another rule of thumb to write down. To grow your account by 10% every week, you need to catch only 100 pips per week. And you'll learn exactly why 100 pips is equal to a 10% gain in your account in the risk management video here in the beginner section. But for now, know that your goal is to only catch 100 pips per week, which is going to get you the 10% gain that you need every week in your account. Remember, in that picture, the market moved 250 pips in only 2 hours. So in 2 hours, you could have achieved nearly 3 weeks of your trading goal if you took that trade. 250 pips would have been a 25% gain in your account as opposed to a 10% gain from only 100 pips. And for your reference, the average currency pair moves 100 to 200 pips per day. All you need to do is learn how to catch 100 pips per week, which realistically can be done in a couple hours in one single trading day. Now here's the fun part. So now that you know that 100 pips per week is equal to a 10% gain in your account, let's go over some numbers. We're going to use a compound interest calculator to show you how 100 pips per week can bring your $500 account to over $70,000 in a year. So if you start with the $500 trading account and you catch 100 pips the first week. That means you made a 10% gain in your account. So here's how your account balance figures at the end of the first week if you started with only $500. So if you started with $500 and made a 10% gain that first week, you would have made a $50 total profit for that first week. The $50 profit plus your initial $500 account balance would yield a $550 final balance at the end of week 1. Now, that might not seem like much, but let's go to week 2. So now we're starting with a $550 account balance at the beginning of week 2. So again, our goal for week 2 stays the same. We are still going for 100 pips that week, which will give us our 10% gain. So week 2, we start out with $550 and a 10% gain would be a $55 total profit for week 2. The $55 profit plus the starting balance of week 2 of $550 would give us a final balance of $605 after week 2. So now let's do this for 26 weeks. For time-saving purposes, I have already laid it out for you. So as you can see, we have 4 columns. The first one being the week number, the second being the starting balance at the beginning of each week, the third being the total weekly profit, which essentially is your weekly income, and the fourth column being the balance of your account at the end of each week. So if we look at the week 1 row, we see that we started with a $500 balance and made a 10% gain that week, which was equal to a $50 profit for that week. And so we ended up with $550 at the end of week 1. So fast forward to 26 weeks, which is half a year, and your ending account balance is now at $5,959.09. And remember, this is all from focusing on only catching 100 pips per week, which gives us our 10% gain that we need every week. So let's take a look at the rest of the year. So if we take this same approach of 100 pips per week, after 52 weeks, your $500 will have grown to over $70,000. Of course, if you started with a higher balance than $500, you would have reached these numbers a lot quicker. But even starting out with only $500, by week 40, you could be making $2,000 a week from your computer. If you look at the total weekly profit column next to week 40, you'll see that your total profit from that week would have been $2,057.24. And these numbers only grow as your trading account grows. All you have to do is master catching 100 pips per week in the markets to successfully do this. We've already seen price move 250 pips in just 2 hours alone. So 100 pips per week is not difficult at all once you've perfected this skill. But the main thing you do need to understand is that all you have to do is master catching these 100 pips per week to be able to grow your account to 6 figures and beyond. And everything in this system is built to teach you how to perfect this skill set so that you can master catching these 100 pips per week and consistently grow your account to 6 figures and beyond. So that'll wrap this video up, guys. I hope you were all able to grasp the power of what just 100 pips a week can do for you in the Forex markets. This trade plan is one that you're going to implement throughout your entire career as a trader. Even though we know that there's opportunity to catch thousands of pips per week, our goal is to only catch 100 pips per week, as we've seen that it can take a $500 account to over 70 grand in 12 months. With that being said, rewatch this video if you need, and we will see the rest of you guys on the next video.